shall begin.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Two Shades of Grey. We have Claudio and myself, David.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about introversion
and extroversion.
Yes.
And Claudio is of the opinion that
it doesn't exist. So I don't think that being introverted or extroverted is actually a thing. I believe instead that it's all about confidence. And confidence applied to different environments in which we're in. And so in the case of like being introverted, what I think is that it's just people that are not confident enough to present themselves in a social environment, and thus they close in and they think that they're introverted instead.
But doesn't it still exist? Okay. I think we need to kind of build up some ground as to like what we kind of believe.
Okay. Yes. Exactly.
What the grounds are for confidence, or let's say like what kind of lends to introversion and extroversion as it exists.
Yeah.
So when you say like, okay, it's all based on confidence, is confidence something that it varies between people naturally, or is that something that like you need to kind of build up and anybody can reach like any level of confidence that they want?
I guess that this goes on to tapping nature versus nurture. Like some people, sure, they can be born with more confidence, but at the same time, it's definitely a skill that you can build up throughout time. Taking even a step further back, we should define like what we think is being extroverted and being introverted. So, like I will say what I think, and then you can disagree if you want to. But by being extroverted, I think that shows that a person is very outgoing, that they're open to talk to others, that they're open to kind of go outside their box and seek new experiences, new adventures, and really like not being afraid. Whereas introverted is someone that is rather a bit more shy, that prefers to stay with himself or by himself, someone that again will lack confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And said it this way, it can kind of seem as like the extroverted is the good one and the introverted is the bad one, and that's because I don't associate like liking to spend time by yourself a characteristic of being introverted. Like if you like to you can be extroverted and still like to spend time by yourself. Like I love to spend time by myself, like if I'm reading or just listening to music or thinking about whatever. But I wouldn't consider myself introverted.
Yeah.
So.
And I definitely agree with that. You're very outgoing. And I mean, and basically, so I would just simplify it to an extrovert is somebody that just feels energized when they're around other people.
Okay.
And an introvert is somebody that feels energized when they're with themselves.
Okay, so it's about energy and about how good you feel if you're with yourself or with others.
And to me, introversion, extroversion doesn't really have to do with confidence. It's more so just what the person feels more comfortable with, based on like the social situation. So I think that it is a spectrum. There isn't just one like end where there are two ends for it to be like to be a spectrum, but most people kind of fall somewhere in between. So for example, like I would consider myself like I do like to spend time alone, but it's like I sometimes just need to be alone to like feel more energized, to be refreshed.
Okay.
It's not really that like, I hate being around people.
Of course.
It's just sometimes I'll be around people all weekend, and then when I get into my room, I feel so good because then I can kind of reflect. I can just sort of mull over everything that happened, and then just feel like I have a new perspective on things. And I think that's what introversion is at its core. Like, it's not really about, I'm really shy. And like, sure, I think that sometimes like, people that are shy and being an introvert kind of go hand in hand.
Okay, yes.
But I don't think that like you have to be shy to be an introvert and like vice versa. So there could be people that are like very confident that do go out and that do enjoy maybe being around people for like a certain amount of time, but then they need to have more alone time.
Okay, so are you saying that it doesn't have to do anything with confidence? That, if you're an introvert, you can still have a lot of confidence in social contexts,
Yes.
but you just don't prefer them?
Yes. I think that, yeah, again, like it's really, you don't need to be confident or unconfident to be an introvert or an extrovert. It's really just what you are naturally more like accustomed to. And I do think that there is a lot of like scientific basis upon introversion and extroversion. Like I have some research
Sure.
where it's like they being like the scientific
Yeah,
community.
okay. Whoever did the
It's
study.
just like there have been studies that show that like certain parts of the brain are more active in, for example, extroverts. So like right here it says that the brains of extroverts pay more attention to human faces than the brains of introverts.
Okay.
So then, like to me, that's it's very akin to like being social.
But yeah, so like, could that not be something that again has to do with confidence? Because say that you are an introvert, right? You are around people, and you're not interested in that because you're afraid, say, or like acting in a certain way, or like of getting judged, and thus you try to exclude yourself from the social situation, and therefore your brain will just try to ignore that part.
I mean, it could, but I think that like I don't know what maybe the conclusion is of this, but it could suggest that they just kind of feed off of that. Like you just pay attention to them more. Like you are more aware of what they're saying because you're just like kind of engineered to be more social. It's not that like if you're not confident then like you wouldn't pay attention. It's just maybe like the fact that they feed off of others. You know, that's why they would pay more attention to those faces.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. Yet you're talking about engineered in a specific way. Do you mean that like there's certain people that are engineered, well, like,
Built up from the ground.
yeah, well,
No.
that are born like being more predisposed to be an introvert and others to be more an extrovert?
Well, there probably is like a certain degree of nurture, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sorry. So when I say like engineered, it's kind of just how the brain functions.
Okay.
But I guess that also can go to how you're raised. Maybe that could have a part. But like there are other parts. So for example, so there have been tons of neuroscience studies. So I found this on Reddit, which is not necessarily the most
Reliable source, but
reliable
still,
source,
it's-
but they did link.
It gives some insight, yeah.
Studies, so I just kind of put it into this document. But basically, a lot of the studies show that brains of introverts and extroverts are very different. Like they behave in very different ways. So for example, like let's see. So there's this one I was looking at. So the cingulate gyrus and the temporal lobes and the posterior thalamus, there's more blood flow to those brain areas in extroverts than introverts. Now,
Okay.
so I don't know what all those are really for in the brain, but I mean, again, it's showing that there is like really a difference.
Yes, but
Um,
could that not be caused, by the fact that people that are introverts lack the confidence to be in these social environments, and thus, the brain just shuts off those areas because of
I
the
don't know,
result
like-
of the confidence?
No, I mean, I don't think so. Like, just being confident is maybe just something that is just like a personality trait that is affected by how your brain works. Like, maybe like some people just can't really change that. Like, just the way that some people maybe are just better at math and like math and sciences than other people, and how some people are better at languages than others.
I guess
So-
that this goes more into like depth with the whole nature versus nurture part, but
But even like the nature versus nurture, like all of that creates your brain.
yes.
And that's not something that you can just change. So like
Well,
being-
it's not something that you would change like this.
Yeah, well,
but
I mean like
it's
change
still
as in like
possible to
it's not
change.
like I don't think that you could really, just change the fundamental way that your brain is functioning. So like the way that your brain is functioning, it's like the different blood flow and these different studies that are showing like how certain areas are more active than others in introverts versus extroverts or vice versa. there's a reason that that's happening. So like, and then that's probably because like that's just causes them to then they would rather be with themselves if they're an introvert or more introverted or feeling introverted versus being extroverted.
I see.
And again, like just going back to kind of how like certain brain structures that are more active might be better for like mathematics, so like your frontal lobe.
Sure.
Some people just don't have as active of a frontal lobe or certain
Thus,
areas.
Yeah, their problem solving skills won't be
Yeah.
as sharp, say.
Or like maybe some people's was like the hypothalamus, where it's like your memory's really good.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
some people just simply can't.
Yeah, and like with the taxi
Remember
drivers,
yeah.
right? They have a really good hypothalamus because they just travel so much and drive so much.
Yeah. So and then like you can say, oh yeah, like you can practice, like you can learn more, but there is kind of a limit if your brain just doesn't really allow that. Kind of like a CPU, right? Like you can't hit certain
speeds or performances. Yeah, I think that like I agree with you, and I think that like after realizing this. My initial thought was like I was associating being introverted like with a bad thing, and more just like with being shy, because so I don't think that being shy is a good thing. That's like just as a basic personality trait. I don't think that being shy is good because it just prevents you from meeting new people, from seeking new experiences, right? And I do attribute being shy to a lack of confidence. I think that like that makes sense, right? If you're shy, it means that you don't have confidence to like open up. Would you agree? Like aside being introverted, which means that you prefer being alone or that you like just like staying by yourself. I'm talking about being shy, explicitly.
Yeah. I mean, I think usually.
Even just by definition, right? If you're shy.
Yeah, like I think usually when you're shy, you might just be like worried about how you come off, or just worried about like opening up. So
exactly,
sure.
yeah. So that could be
typically people that are more confident would not be shy. So
exactly, yeah. So I think that the main like thought that I had with introvert, like with the introvert personality, was instead attributed to being shy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is, and like by saying this, where I want to get to is that if someone is shy, then they shouldn't just use the fact of being introverted as an excuse, but instead trying to work on their confidence, right? But instead, if someone is an introvert, which we have agreed, or like that we have come to the conclusion that is not necessarily attributed to being shy, but if someone is shy and then they attribute that to being an introvert, then that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Because then I think that people should not just give up on that, and they should instead work towards being more confident.
Yeah, I have a question. So you said that being shy is a bad thing.
Yes.
But why is it bad? Like, is it objectively bad? So like it's always bad. Like it's always the case that being shy is bad, because I think it's kind of like a subjective thing. So maybe like some people are shy and then they think I wish I wasn't, and then it's bad for them because it's not aligned. It's not aligning with what they want.
Okay.
So for example, I'm assuming you don't want to be shy. Like
yes.
So but there are people that they enjoy just being alone.
But that's different, right?
Yeah, but like they enjoy. Just they don't want to associate with other people.
Sure, but
like they just think, oh, maybe they're a waste of time, or like I would just rather do my own thing all the time, and for them that's not bad.
Okay, so I see what you're saying about objectively.
Maybe they could bad. Even be like they could be shy, they could lack confidence, but
they could just not care about being with others.
But again, it's not a bad thing because they just don't care about the like building those relationships with other people.
Yeah. That is a good point. I guess I thought that it was always something objective, because in my opinion, just being open to others just opens up a whole world of possibilities. Mm-hmm. You can meet people, you have experiences, right?
And then that's definitely to us like it's yes. a very important thing.
Yes.
Because
but it may not be for everyone.
Yeah, because we like to build those experiences. I mean, even now, like we have to sit in front of a camera and talk about our thoughts and stuff. So. It's probably like we enjoy doing that, and to us it's important, but I think it's also important to keep in mind that like it's not really like not everyone values that.
Yeah.
So even if someone isn't confident, it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as it's not something that they think holds them back.
So then this would be like saying, oh, being smart, like being stupid or like being not smart, rather, is not a bad thing.
I mean, like, to me, it would be
I
bad,
guess-
but to some people, like, I mean, so let's like so society, it's very free. Like, we have a lot
Yeah.
of liberty, so it's not all across the board bad. Like, I would say it's important to be smart, or it's important to like just improve yourself, like intellectually, like
Yes.
because I think then you have like a better impact. But then maybe we can go off like another path. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe it is bad because then they're just like a waste. They're not contributing anything, so they're just
Sure.
consuming resources. I think it's maybe like it's not something that's like across the board bad, but it is a little bit different because being shy doesn't necessarily like reduce your potential impact on society or like,
Well, kind of.
how useful
because,
you are.
No, but kind of because if you're shy, then you may not reach out to other people as much, and then you can't create connections that could lead to like, you know, whatever discovery that you could do with someone
Yeah.
else or something, right?
But maybe then they just post things online, and then now they have a whole like
Well-
ecosystem to work with, and they can share ideas, research, learn online and stuff.
Yes. Maybe instead of thinking of being shy as something bad or like not intelligent as something bad, maybe we should try to achieve that. And like, if we're not, it's fine. But I think that they're like objectively, it would be like a good thing to be smart, right? Or intelligent. It's a good thing objectively to be confident, right? Maybe it's not a bad thing objectively to be shy, but I don't see any downside of being confident, right?
Do you think that it's better to be confident, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to be shy? Is that kind of what you're
Yes, well, not
saying?
just better.
Or-
I think that it's good to be confident,
Okay.
and that
But if
it's not bad to be shy. Yes,
Okay.
I agree, but it is a good thing to be confident.
But is it so that it's not better than being shy?
I would want to say yes,
Because
but no.
Yo, I mean, because like, the only reason I'm asking is because we were kind of talking about like intelligence.
Yes.
But now we're going back to like being shy.
Well,
or
yes,
being
because you know we're talking about
outgoing.
introverts and
But then like if it's good to be
extroverts.
confident, but then it's like then if you don't say it's better, then really then we get back to like, oh, then it doesn't matter if you're shy or not. Like it's just
Well,
sure,
okay,
it's,
so
it's
in
good
my-
because there are certain ways that it's good.
in my opinion, of course, it's better to be confident than shy.
Okay.
Because you know, just by the way that I have like that I view life, by being confident, then you can just access so many more things, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not valuing being shy. And like, see, by being shy, I don't mean being by myself. Like, because I value that time a lot. By being shy, I just mean not having the courage, or I guess, as you said, not having the interest into, you know, talking with other people. So I do think that being confident is better. And then that is not excluding the fact that you like to spend time by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. And going back to being introverted or extroverted, again, I think that being introverted, as long as we exclude the shy part of it, then it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
Whereas being extroverted, I would say that is always a good thing. Like, could you think of, you know, something that is bad with being extroverted?
Okay, just one thing. So
Sure.
if we exclude being shy from being introverted, then it's not a bad thing.
Then it's not a bad thing, yes.
So then that's implying that being shy is a bad thing.
Again, I would want to say yes, because there's nothing good about being shy. Like, and by being shy, I don't mean liking to spend time by yourself.
And I mean, and again, like I'm not saying like it's bad
Sure.
to say that it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I guess like when I came in to this episode, I was thinking like, you know, being shy isn't really bad, but then maybe it's like when I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like I think being confident really just opens up more opportunities.
Exactly.
Being shy,
It doesn't add
often-
anything to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, aside from being like cautious and maybe like preventing yourself from
But
danger.
that's not the same
then-
thing. Like, being shy is not being cautious.
Yeah, but it's just. I mean, like it could be because then it's like, oh, I won't maybe be around other people as much.
Okay,
so,
it's not that
I
people
won't-
are just gonna
yeah,
stab
it's
you
like-
all the time, you know?
But I guess when I think about it, you know, being confident typically is better than being shy.
Yes.
Because like
Definitely.
being shy, if anything, just holds you back.
Exactly.
So,
Like, is there anything good about being shy? Can you think of anything?
I mean, I don't really know any advantages really. Like if it aligns with your beliefs that like you just don't really care about people, then it's then in that case, it's not bad. Like, I guess I'll go back to what I said earlier, where it's like, if really you just don't really care about forming relationships with other people, it just doesn't align with your beliefs or your values, then being shy is not a bad thing. Only when...
But like, we should not make it subjective. It should be something objective.
Well, because I don't
like
think
saying
it
being
isn't
kind.
It isn't objective though, like, because there's no just right path with this personality thing. Like, it's something where because innately it's subjective whether or not you care about forming relationships.
Yes,
with
but
other
like,
people.
again, should it not be objective instead? Think about being kind. Isn't being kind something that
Yeah,
objectively is good?
That's different because that's always affecting somebody else.
I see your point.
Whereas being shy is more of a personal thing. Like, do you want to meet other people or do you not? It's not really going to affect others whether or not you exist in their
I mean,
world.
again, in theory, in the grand scheme of things, it could, because then you're preventing connections from happening that could lead to something.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of going down.
It's just
a
too
very
it's just hypothetical.
path.
Yes.
Because then it's just saying like, oh, if I had gone out to like the store, maybe I could have paid like a homeless guy. Therefore, it was bad that I didn't go. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very hypothetical situation. I don't know.
I see.
I just think if it's like a cognitive dissonance sort of thing, you aren't doing what is good for you, then I think by definition it is bad or something that should be changed.
Okay, so I mean,
otherwise it's really something that doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And then being confident or being shy, there's no better one. It all just depends on like what you want.
Okay. I'm not sure if I agree on the subjectivity or objectivity argument of this, but that's something else. But to wrap things up, I guess that we do agree that being introverted is something that should be separate from being shy.
Yes.
And that by that definition, that being introverted is not something bad.
Yes.
Right? And whereas, just being extroverted, it has no negative consequences or attributes to it. And thus it's always fine.
Well, see, so there could be a negative thing where it's like maybe if people aren't always around, then you wouldn't feel as like comfortable. But again,
but that
that's
has
just something. It's
that's
like,
not
do you mean
to
like
do with
how
being
influences like
extroverted.
other people, like in terms of that, or?
Well, again, being introverted or extroverted should not have to do with you enjoying time by yourself. Or not.
No.
It should just have to do with...
I meant like, so what I meant was like the negative parts of being extroverted could be like there aren't always people that are around for you to feel like refreshed. So that could be like a drawback because then you're kind of dependent on others.
I see. Sure. I mean, you could always go out and look for new people. Since you're an extroverted, then it means that that you are open and that you feel comfortable with meeting new people.
Yeah.
So sure, I could see that as a possible like little drawback, but like not something major. But again, so going back to the main argument, is being an introvert bad?
I don't think so. No.
I guess yes. I don't think so either, as long as we exclude the shyness part of it, because that's something else, about the subjectivity or not of whether being shy is good or bad. Okay, so the verdict. What do you say?
Don't be an introvert. No, I'm kidding. So I think that introversion and extroversion aren't inherently good or bad. It's very separate from like, being shy or even being confident. It's really just how your brain performs, how it acts, and how it's kind of built. And it's something that from what I've read, is something that you can't easily or even potentially change. And it's really it's very different from, maybe just personality traits. And then like it's a fundamental way with how you feel more comfortable living your life. And it's all a spectrum too.
Of course.
Like again, I don't think there's anybody that's like purely an extrovert. Like,
well, with anything,
and I don't think there's
right?
anybody that's purely
with anything,
an introvert.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a way where like some people kind of lie on like the one, like closer to one end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yes, I don't feel as confident as you in saying this, but again, if I had to pick a side, then I would agree as well that, you know, it's not a bad thing to be an introvert, as it's not a bad thing to be an extrovert. Although, yeah, subjectively, I definitely do lean more into, you know, thinking that being an extrovert is better. Although I don't know if you can make that comparison if like neither of them are good or bad. Yeah, if I had to lean on one of the two, I would lean on being an extrovert. But yes, being an introvert as a verdict is not bad. Okay. All right. So, guys, let us know what you think. We did cover quite a few points. So let us know in the comments or where else? Comments? Is it just the comments pretty much?
And ratings too.
Or ratings? Yeah. No, but like to let us know about the show.
Yeah, well, because people can also like, as we talked about our ratings in our ratings episode, you can like or leave a dislike. So
yeah,
make sure to rate it.
And yeah, leave something in the comments. Yes,
and we're also looking for feedback. So because we're very new, so if you think there's any way for us to improve, if there are certain aspects of our episode so far that you really liked, please let us know, and then we'll definitely take that into account and then incorporate the feedback. Yeah. So guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.